Well, thank you. It's a grim topic, though. Why is the divorce rate in the United States over 50% and even higher than that for second and third marriages?
Expectations, I believe, that people enter a marriage with certain expectations, and when those expectations are not met, then they have problems. And many of the problems that they carry into a marriage are problems that they have always had carried over from childhood that have never been dealt with. And they try to deal with it in the marriage or don't deal with it at all.
But isn't the idea of a divorce completely contrary to the whole idea, the whole concept of getting married? You do say for better or worse when you stand at the altar or in the courthouse, don't you?
Absolutely, but as the divorce records show, doesn't always work that way, and that is unfortunate. And you would think with so many divorces and the statistics not getting any better and getting much, much worse, the more times you've been married, that people would just give up on marriage, but they don't. They just keep getting married and getting divorced.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you could be talking to someone 22. You could be talking to someone 65. You could be talking to someone 47. They're all dealing with it because of the multiple marriages and the multiple divorces. But how do why is it so grim? Why is it so gruesome when it ends? If you know going in that there's a 50% shot you're not going to make it.
I think everybody really believes that their marriage will be the exception, that they will make it and they're not going to be divorced. I don't really think anyone's standing there at the altar thinking, man, I'm going to get a divorce if this doesn't work out. They're thinking, this is going to work out. I'm not going to be a statistic. And then when they are, they're very disillusioned. And plus, maybe they haven't put any safe points in place, like prenuptial agreement or whatever the case may be if they're in a second and third marriage. And then the battles begin. They're battling over children. They're battling over money. They're battling over possessions. And it just goes on. And the only one making any money on that is the attorney.
Well, I think that it seems to me that a prenuptial agreement, though you mention it, flies in the face of what you're promising when you stand there, because you're already creating your escape clause. And if you're saying that, aren't you in fact psychologically, subconsciously saying, for better or worse, richer or poorer, but just in case anything goes wrong, I'm out of here?
Yes, it could be interpreted that way. However, because of the large divorce rate we have in this country, and someone comes into the marriage with enormous amount of money, not just celebrities, although most of them do have prenuptial agreements, and you can't blame them because there's just huge amounts of money at stake. But yes, it can cause the person who doesn't have the money to feel a little less important, but it's still an understandable step to take. But even in the marriage itself, there are things that one can do so that if there is a marriage or there is a divorce and the marriage does end, that someone's not just coming out with nothing. And that happens more with women than men.
Well, what they're going to come out with, needless to say, is probably angst and a broken heart. So if it's happening to more than 50% of us, and those of you listening right now who have someone involved in it, what do you do to get over it? Is there a quick fix?
I don't think there's any quick fix when you're coming out of a divorce. That's a painful place to be. But there are steps that you can take if you've gone through a heart-wrenching divorce. I went through a heart-wrenching divorce. And one of the most important things is that you have a close circle of friends or family or both that help to support you along the way, because you are grieving. It's like a death, and it's a very difficult place to be.